Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This is Erica Jane, aka Dirty Jane, and I keep it dirty. Remember to like and subscribe and to hit that bell so you can get all of the notifications of my new videos. All right, everybody. If you guys are looking at this video, it is Erica Jane, and I am making my grandma's famous dressing. And stay tuned. So right now we are going to chop the onions. I've already peeled the onions so far, and we're gonna chop the onions. And this is my grandmama.
Hi.
Say hey.
Yeah.
So that's my grandmama. So we are about to start the process. She's actually talking me through. So I'm actually physically making the dressing. So I'll come back to you with the second step. So I forgot to tell you guys. So we are using 4 onions. 4 onions. Make sure you peel them. And we're using a food processor because it gets it very thin. I know you heard my mom in the background. That was my mom talking to my auntie. So once again, 4 onions. 4 onions. So right now I have already chopped 2 onions. I cut them in half, put them in the food processor, and I'll show you. So the 2 onions are in the processor, and then I'll put the other 2 onions in there. So I'm going to process it. I know it's going to make a couple of noise, so I'll come back to you guys real soon. So the food processor does its job. It is definitely fine enough for us to mix for the dressing. And now what I'm finna do is I'm finna actually grease the pot. So we'll be cooking the onions, the celery, and the green peppers together. So I'll come back to you with that. This is the step. You'll use a stick of butter in the bottom of the pan, and make sure you get a deep pan so you can put all of the ingredients in there. So now, since I've already buttered the actual pan, now I'm finna put the onions in there. We're not gonna actually boil anything until everything is actually finely chopped. So the next step will be a half of a green pepper. So I'll be cutting that in half, and I'll also be putting that in the food processor. So stay tuned. So I have actually cut the bell pepper in half, and so I'm actually about to stick that in the food processor. I know I still have a little residue from the actual onions, but that's okay because everything will be fully mixed together. So I actually forgot to tell you guys to take the seed out of the green pepper. So here is the product of the half of the green pepper that was chopped in the food processor. So that's how that looks. And like I said, make sure you chop it real fine. So the next step will be chopping your celery, and make sure you get these little leaves off. But the stems, we're going to make sure that we keep. So it's only going to be 4 celery stalks that are needed. Make sure you chop the celery leaves off, please. Now you need to wash the celery off. This is how it's supposed to look without the seeds. So please wash the celery off. Okay, because you know they use all type of stuff, so we want to make sure that it's clean before actually chopping it up and cooking it. So please wash the chop them enough to where they can actually get in the food processor. And now I'm gonna actually process them and mix it with the onions and the bell pepper mix. So the next step is to actually mix the 2 sausage that we use. We use Jimmy Dean, regular, and it's the pork. Yeah, it's the pork, and then we use, this is the frozen kind. This is the beef. So we use both of these, and we're gonna mix it in this mix right here. So I'll let you guys know. See, my grandma is letting me know what's going on. Half of that. So basically, we did 1 Jimmy Dean, and then we did a half of the actual beef sausage, and that's the frozen kind. And so now we mixed it all into the pot with the celery, the green pepper, and the onions and the butter. So we have to mix it before we can actually put it on the stove here. So that's what I'm doing right now. Mixing it, make sure it's well mixed.
Let's see how you mix it. Now, do you have any
sage?
Sorry, you got some sage. That's what
so this is the sage that I'll be putting in there, and we did add another stick of butter in there. And we will be adding poultry seasoning as well. So we've put both of the seasonings in there. I'm finna put it on the stove, and you have to continually mix it as it's on the stove.
We have you got them that poultry season.
You just put it in there.
Not
so,
poultry season, but we using the bottle sometimes. We using them cans.
So I'm learning from my grandmama. As you can see, she is a pro of doing this dressing. So hopefully it turns out the way hers turned out. So I've actually put everything on the stove so far, and I am in the process of mixing it. So you have to constantly mix it as much as you can. You hear my mom in the background. I'm still at it. I'm still stirring. It's not completely done yet. The mix isn't. But I do want to let you guys know that it is definitely real cornbread. It is Jiffy cornbread that is being used. It's a total of like 8 boxes of Jiffy cornbread that was used here. I'm so sorry that I didn't show you the process of actually making the real cornbread, but I'll go through that in another video. So back to me stirring the mix that we have here, and I will let you know the next process. That's that good old-fashioned biscuits here. So I did make them earlier today as well, along with the cornbread. And I'm pretty sure it's about 15 biscuits in there. It's gonna be delicious. So I'll show you all of that once my mix get ready. I'll show you how to implement the cornbread and the biscuits and the mix together. So stay tuned. So my grandma is actually stirring it right now. And now we are in the process of actually cutting the cornbread. Putting the cream of chicken in the mix here.
Yeah, put the broth in there. That's fine.
Putting the cream of chicken in here, you guys.
Okay.
All right, now you gotta put a chicken broth in there also, along with the mix. All right, I'm putting the chicken broth in there also. And I'll be stirring everything up. And I have it on low heat. I'm stirring it till it mixes completely. So the portions that I'm putting in here is actually for a large party of at least 30 to 40 people. So you can actually downsize some of the stuff that is being put in there for smaller people. So for a smaller party. Just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. So, since we got done stirring and everything, I put the turkey gravy over it so it can make it mushy. So I'm in the process of actually cutting it up into small pieces. And this is the cornbread, by the way. So I'm cutting it up into fine pieces because this is what actually makes the corn. This actually makes the dressing. Is the actual good cornbread. So I'll come back to you with the other process because I'll be doing the same exact thing that I'm doing for the cornbread. I'll be doing for the actual biscuits. So I've taken out 6 biscuits out of the 15 biscuits that I made, and I'm going to actually do the same thing as I'm doing with the actual cornbread. I'm mushing it up. My hands are actually clean, so I'll be actually using my hands. So as you can see, my hands are actually clean, and I'm gonna rinse them off. Well, I'm gonna actually put, well, you know, dry them off a little bit. Want to make sure you guys know that definitely. So using my hands. So if you guys don't know already, this is the process of mixing everything together after you have did the mix with the mix, which was the pork sausage and the beef sausage with the celery, the onions, and the bell peppers, a little sage, and a little poultry seasoning. And you put it all in one pot and you let it cook for over an hour, but you have to mix it in the process. So from there, you have to, of course, make the cornbread. You have to make your biscuits. And then once you get the mix, also, some people use oysters. Some people use their turkey, turkey gravy. So it just depends on how you feeling or how you guys grew up or how the instructions do. But I'm using the turkey gravy from the actual turkey that was cooked as well. So I use that, and also I use cream of chicken and a little chicken broth after the mix have been cooking for over an hour, and you have to continuously stir that. So I did that. From there, I put the little cream of chicken, and also the turkey gravy over the cornbread to actually make the cornbread soften it. So as you can see, the biscuits are actually I'm crumbling them up. And I am trying to make them as small as possible into small, very little pieces. So I have one more cornbread to go. Then I go back through the pile to make sure the big pieces that I didn't get to crumble small, that I make it small also. I thank you guys for tuning in. I am fairly new to the YouTube channel. So if you guys could please subscribe, like, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to actually watch me. I am a channel that is all about lifestyle, traveling, because I do a lot of traveling. I actually been to quite a bit of countries. And also I am in the process of losing weight, and I know me doing all of this, you're like, what? But it was an honor for me this year to actually cook my grandma famous dressing that all of the family members love. So she has guided me through this process, and I know you guys have seen her in the previous videos. And I'll come back with the next step. So the next step, I got the cornbreads. I'll spread it out. And now I'm finna put the biscuits that I crumbled up with the cornbread mix. Just put it all over. And then you mix that together. And then I come back with the next step. I still got the whole thing of what, Granny?
That's it. That's stuff we made up.
Oh, yeah, the mix. Yeah, I'm going to put it with the cornbread mix.
Yeah, cornbread and biscuits.
Yeah, cornbread and biscuits. Y'all hear my grandmama telling me? She telling me what to do. I'll come back. I am making my grandma famous dressing over here. I'm over here working. I'm getting it. So it should look like this once you mix all of the cornbread and the biscuits together. So I'll go over the next step. So now I am finna put the mix that we made yesterday.
I don't know how I got to do that thick.
I'm finna put half of that in this cornbread right here.
Put half of it.
You hear my grandma put half of it in there. So I'm finna start putting it, laying that over the cornbread and the biscuit mix. And I'll come back to you guys with the next step. Say hey to my grandmama.
Hey. Who's that?
That's my grandmama. She said hey. So I done mixed the cornbread and the biscuits together. So now we are about to put eggs in there. Also, I just put a can of chicken broth as well in there. So I'll come back to you. Right now, I'm putting 5 eggs in there. And I'll come back to you with the next step. And so it is fully mixed up. And now you put the oven on 350. And then you let it cook for 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how brown you want it. And here is the aftermath of its cooking. That's smells so good. I made actually 2 pans and I tried it out to make sure that it tastes just like my grandmama's, and it does. It's delicious. It's delicious.